Hasbro's based in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, and what makes it special for me is that it runs the Transformers brand. Certainly we have a lot of partners, but for Hasbro, the crown jewel is Transformers.
What we wanted to do was create a campus, an environment that led to creativity. You can actually dream up almost anything within the company's walls, model that product, photograph that product, package that product, and never leave your desk.
Hasbro's an awesome place to work, obviously, because you get to make toys, and that's fun. You know, growing up as a kid, I grew up on Transformers. It was a great brand to play with, and I never made the connection that you could actually go and make Transformers. And as I got older and I realized that through design that was actually, a job that you could do that, I pursued that.
My name's John. I work as a design manager at Hasbro, and my job is to make cool robots that transform into stuff. I think what's unique about Transformers Age of Extinction is the production staff did such an incredible job of really making those characters unique and special from each other. And to me, I think that's going to be something that not only resonates with me as an artist and a fan of Transformers, but also I think it's going to really connect with kids. You have a guy that has a big trench coat, for example. That's a cool added feature on a toy, or something cool to draw.
Just look at Drifting Crosshairs. You just look at the characters. I mean, look at the cars and what they become and how realistic they are as characters.
Transformers 4, there was an opportunity to introduce new characters that people were looking forward to and many people wanted to see on the screen. Being able to bring that to the audience was a big deal for us.
Obviously, that fans love Dinobots. It's been a big part of our lore for a long time, and Grimlock is the leader of the Dinobots.
Grimlock was a character that was created in 1985, and at the time, in the story, he was an Autobot, but he was kind of like a masterless warrior, and he had his crazy band of Dinobots that went along with him, and he wasn't the brightest guy. He kind of talked like a caveman, like, hey, Grimlock, smash. And we knew that this character meant a lot to a full generation of people.
And we discussed how could we take Grimlock, from back then and reinvent him for the future. Because Grimlock back in 1985, 86, it's kind of this big lumbering, dinosaurs, his tail's dragging on the ground, and he's kind of old school. And we wanted to reimagine him to be kind of new school, to be something fun and contemporary. If you watch the film franchise, Michael Bay puts in a lot of action where the character's running into the screen and transforms, but it's all in one take.
Something we wanted to bring to the table was this idea of really fast-moving dinosaurs. They're tearing through things, this giant destructive force, and what we're doing now with Transformers 4 toys is we're really trying to bring the magic into the toy so that fluidity of transformation happens, and it was a difficult process to get there.
The product designers had an idea for creating this giant dinosaur.
So when we saw Optimus Prime riding Grimlock coming in to save the day, we said we need to bring that to life in toy. That's our hero product. And our design team did an amazing job to create a massive stomp and chomp Grimlock that literally has all these different functions.
So where is that coming out of?
Well, we were talking about having this part of his neck open.
Oh, that's cool.
And then the weapons would deploy about that spot right there.
And I think that if the handle is positioned right, we could make sure that it clears the top and fits on the shelf.
With the creation of the Stomp and Chomp Grimlock, we wanted to really convey that awesome, awe-inspired presence of Grimlock. This guy is big, so we had to make the toy big. And we kept looking at it, we're like, it's not big enough, it's gotta be bigger, it's gotta be bigger.
We're all working together from the very beginning, literally in a room, trying to kind of sketch things out. All kind of gels together, piece by piece until we end up with something we go, hey, this is pretty cool. We like what we got here. We feel comfortable. And then we take it from there on to model building and then to manufacturing and so on.
So my name is Patrick Marr. I'm the senior manager of Hasbro's model shop, and we're responsible for developing all the prototypes for Hasbro's products. So I'm going to give you a quick tour, show you around, and show you how we do some of the things that we make. Before we make any physical models, we work it out in our CAD/CAM packages to make sure all the parts fit together, they function properly, and that we are able to manipulate them properly before we waste time growing them. Stephen Gray's working on a cam package right now, and he's going to demonstrate some things for you.
Sounds good. So right now I'm working on some surfacing issues with this model. What we want to do is we want to make sure when we go to send stuff over the RP lab that it's a good file to work with. So right now what I'm working on is the melt that goes right in front of the dyno right here. I'm just going to quickly inspect the part to make sure it looks pretty good. And now we're going to drag and drop it into our assembly. In this package, we can also move things and see how they interact with each other. We can automatically see interferences, adjust for them, and save time on the end so we don't have to regrow parts.
In that stage, we also start to refine the aesthetics. We get the nuances from the movie, and we put them onto the toy. And this is sometimes the hardest part, because what you end up doing is you have to sacrifice sometimes some of that detail for the function of the toy, depending on, especially with Transformers, where it's going to transform. Are there parts that are going to interfere with each other? How do the pieces have to move for a fluid transformation? And this is one of the greatest challenges of the process, is really trying to stay true to those awesome details, but also trying to communicate something that is actually going to be translated as a toy. So it's got to become plastic at some point.
We're one of the few places on the East Coast that have 5 different technologies in-house of rapid prototyping. 2 of the machines are inside this window, and we're growing some of the parts for our Transformers team right now.
So this is our Connex printer. It's a polyjet technology. It basically utilizes the same technology as your inkjet printer that you use at home. It's got 8 print heads in there. 4 of them are for support, which actually cradles the part and enables us to build it. And then 4 of the print heads are actually used for the resin that the machine is jetting out right now. Very small, thin layers, about 40 microns, I think, is where it's at right now. Blood cell, I think, is 25 microns. It's pretty thin layers of material, so it's pretty cool stuff.
In the past, they would all be hand-built models. Now we're growing them. We're growing them every night. So we can come in literally the next day, see all of our changes in plastic in our hands. And so the speed is just really fast in the development process, which is great for us.
Our casting department is where we make all our duplicate parts. So with 1,700 items in the line, we make 5 models of each item. We have to use these RTV molds to make all our duplication.
My name is Mike Cody. I'm a senior caster at Hasbro. Hey, casting is a reproduction of all the parts for tooling that we do throughout the company. We're gonna spray the mold with release. Then we're gonna put the 2 halves together. Then what we do is we take the mold, just so no urethane comes out of the mold. And then we go to pour our urethane. Then we mix. We pour the urethane. And then what we have to do is we have to put it in a chamber. We'll go into the chamber for an hour. And then it'll come out and we'll demold it. And these will be the parts that will come out of the mold. This is the front half of the face and the back half of the face. And what we do is once they're dry, we'll put them together. And the casting is Optimus Prime.
So now we're on our final stop on the tour, and that's where we're going to put the deco on top of our Grimlock. So Mark's going to show you how we apply our deco, or paint in this case, match that deco sheet, and get that product looking as good as we can.
My name is Mark Maha. I'm the Transformers model artist. I'm in charge of the prototyping process for Transformers. I get the prototype, break it down into pieces as you can see here. There are 19 molds for this Stomp and Chop Grimlock. And then once I get the deco sheet from the designer, I actually take it to the spray room, base out all these pieces in the color. I think I'll spray this piece, and maybe I'll spray a leg, top of the leg. We'll do the whole leg, and we'll do a top of the leg, we'll do this piece. We'll do a couple pieces, you know? All right, let's do it.
the gray model will actually separate the paint when the paint hits it. So you clean it with a little Bastine first. It dissolves all the natural oils from your hand, and then you can get a nice clean painted surface. So one of the things is there are many colors. We actually hand mix each color with lacquer paint to hit the color spot on. So it's the exact color that the designer wants for the item. So you can imagine how difficult it is to match all these colors by hand. There's no certain formula. It's all by eye. Some metallics, in order to get a really nice sparkly finish, you do a two-step process. So I actually mix two colors. So the first color would be this for the base coat, and then I actually mix this before. It's an overspray. It's just a tint with powder in it, so it just gives like a nice metallic sheen to it, almost like a gloss finish as well. So as you can see the difference, now it has a nice shiny metallic finish, whereas this has more of like a dull coat on it really.
I love Transformers, always have since the early G1 days. Being part of the brand is like a dream come true. After I paint the item, put it back together, it gets put onto the table for sign-off. The whole team comes down, checks it out, marketing, design, just to make sure it looks the way they want it to look.
The Grimlock toy plays just like Grimlock does in the movie. You know, it transforms very easily. Optimus Prime rides on the back. When Optimus gets on his back, it activates unique responses, lights and sounds. And then if you were to put a different character on the back of Grimlock, you get different lights and sounds and different response from Grimlock. And so you actually play out the Autobot and Decepticon fantasy within the toy line as we do in the movies.
Came out really good, guys. This is awesome. Nice work. Man, let's ship it.
The biggest thing about Stomp and Chomp Grimlock to me is that it looks really cool. We didn't take away from the design of it. It is a cool looking Dinobot, so he's not simple. He's still very detailed and very engaging, which illustrates how much of a great product it is because they respect, you know, the look and feel of what it does, even though it is a very simple transformation.
It's magic.
Grimlock is fantastic because you just grab that handle and go. You know, it's a dinosaur 1 second and it's a giant robot the next second.
Grimlock started in 2011 and now it's 2014. So it's about anywhere from a 2 to 3 year process to go from concept to something on retail shelf. When you're at retail and you see a kid come up and start playing with it, you're just like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. You know, I worked 3 years on that and this kid is doing and playing with something just the way I would have played with it back when I was a kid. That never gets old.
It's just some of the most rewarding moments of our jobs is to be able to see the magic in a kid's eyes and to think, wow, this thing is real. It's something that started out 3 years ago, and here it is.
I think the best thing that gets me out of bed and gets me here and makes me excited about my job is the idea that we're molding entertainment. We're molding experiences for the next generation, for kids to remember, and to be able to come into work and think about that and think about how we're molding the next set of minds is really a powerful thing.
There we have it. Transformers.
Thanks for the opportunity to show you around the model shop. We're very proud of the work that we do here at Hasbro. We have a lot of talented people, and we love bringing Hasbro's products to life. Now it's time to get back to work.